Thank you for joining us for this week's edition of Southwest Connections, our new campus-based show that lets you meet some of the people that make Southwest a great place that it is. Our goal here is to share with you a little bit of what's happening this week, as well as meet some of the people that make up the great Mustang family. My guest this week is Michele Knife-Sterner. Michelle's the Associate Director of Access, Opportunity, and Success. Welcome to the show, Michele.
Oh, thank you. Nice to be here.
So before we learn a little bit about access, opportunity, and success, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, like you said, I'm Michele Knife-Sterner. I'm the Associate Director for Access, Opportunity, and Success, and I'm in my 13th year at Southwest, which is hard to believe because it just feels like it flew by quite fast. So, yeah. I do a number of different things on campus. I'm also Oyate Club student advisor, and recently I have been placed as the designee for athletics and the diversity and inclusion designate for that. So a couple different hats.
So you've been at Southwest for 13 years, but really you've been a part of Southwest for a little bit longer than that, because the Sterner name is synonymous with Southwest.
Right. So my parents moved here in 1968, and my dad started teaching and was the head wrestling coach right away. And he did that for 35 plus years, and I know he taught for, I believe, 41. Then, of course, my mom was in the education department, and I think she taught for about 35 years here. So, I mean, it's just crazy. And my brother, of course, he has his own history as well. I was an alum of Southwest. He was SMSU's first wrestling national champion, which is something I'm very proud of, to be part of his legacy and all of that, as my father being the coach. And then, of course, he took over the helm for 10 years as the wrestling coach. And so, yeah, I mean, when I think about Southwest, it's not only where I work now, but it was my playground as a kid, too. I mean, my parents were here because of athletics and night class, so I was here all the time, too. And so just the halls and everything, it's reminiscent of my childhood as much as my adulthood now as well.
Well, and we're glad to have you here.
Oh, thanks.
So tell us a little bit about Access, Opportunity, and Success program and what that's all about.
So the AOS program, which I'm going to refer to it from probably here on out, is a program that serves students who are first-generation college students, Pell Grant recipients, or students of color. And the students only have to meet one of those eligibility requirements in order to participate in the program. We provide different academic-based support for the students, as well as helping them with the transition from high school into college, and helping them with leadership development, help them get a head start on what they're going to do with their life once they have that diploma in their hand.
So one of those programs that kind of helps give students that jump start is something you refer to as Summer Bridge, and helps get students acclimated to college. Tell us a little bit about Summer Bridge.
Yeah, so the Summer Bridge is a really cool program. It's actually in its 19th year, and the program itself was designed to serve students prior to the start of their freshman year. And so students come in 3 weeks prior to the start of the academic year, and they'll take a total of 8 college credits during that time. And it's intensive, and students have to be well prepared for it. So they have to be already enrolled at Southwest, accepted and enrolled. And we do have certain requirements as far as what their ACT and their GPA needs to look like. And that is mostly so that they are successful in that 8 weeks and don't just suffer, burnout. But that program allows them the opportunity to get a jump start in credits, as well as a financial boost, because we have a tuition waiver connected to that. In addition to that, there's all these kind of unseen things that happen, but they get to know anywhere between additional 20 to 30 students in the program, and they get the opportunity to talk with professors and see support staff on campus. And we believe that that helps with their acclimation into the setting here at SMSU.
So what are some of the classes that those students would take during Summer Bridge?
So this year we offered a communications course, which is interpersonal cross-cultural communication, taught by Dr. Rick Herder. And then Justice and Society, taught by Amanda Sealing. Then we have a Strength and Conditioning course, which is PE 149. And we have that class set up because we have a lot of student athletes that take the course. So it's an opportunity for them to work out while they're in the Summer Bridge program and do things with their team if their team is already in session doing workouts and things. Then we have a 1-credit global studies. And that really makes up for the whole program, because they're required to be here for the full 3 weeks, which includes weekends. And so that includes evening activities of a mandatory study. And then we usually take a trip. Typically in the last 3 to 4 years, we've gone to Kansas City. And so we'll go on the trip, and that's connected to the courses that they're taking. So that global studies counts for the trip, their mandatory study, and just all the other activities that we include in any other weekend portion. So it turns out to be 8 college credits, 2 1-credit courses, and 2 3-credit courses.
So it's pretty intensive from the academic standpoint, but there are some other activities that go on,
Right.
like the field trip or the global experience, if you will.
Yeah, the global experience, and that's a lot of fun. Students usually have a great time with that. I mean, I don't know if you've ventured to Kansas City, but there's a lot to be seen there, and the cultural history that it has, as far as the jazz scene. The Negro League Baseball Museum is there. They also have American jazz. The World War I Museum is there, and that's incredible. We've also visited the Truman Library, and that's fabulous too. I mean, a presidential library is just so. I mean, there's just so many things that it encompasses, and that was the first time I'd ever visited one myself, is visiting Kansas City and Independence, Missouri, where Harry S. Truman is from. So that was, really cool to see. So
can't forget it's also home of the American Royal World Series of Barbecue too. So
there you go. Yes, there's the whole. That is. I mean, the barbecue. There's 3 different types, right? I can't even remember all the names right now, but
there's something for everybody.
Yes, right.
That's good. So the second part of the program is your AOS Scholars Program. Tell us how the AOS Scholars Program ties in.
Okay. So the program, AOS Scholars, is actually quite new. We've started in the last 5 years, and it's designed to help students who are first generation in particular, because research shows that first generation college students, they're not as well acclimated to the deadlines that exist for college students and what needs to be done, like FAFSA applications when they have to be completed. And then if they do end up at college, then how to proceed and how to maneuver through the system, right? So we created the Scholars Program as a cohort program. So the students that participate in that program take 4 classes together, and it helps them get prepared for what they're going to see for the next following 3 academic years that they're there. But they're also programs that fit their goal requirements for the LEPs. And so really it's a way that we can be somewhat intrusive in how we're working with them, be involved with them, but we know that they're going to be successful in those courses, and they have the opportunity to get to know a group of students really well.
Southwest has had a long history of serving first-generation college students, and for those that did grow up with parents maybe that went to college, there are a lot of things that are talked about that would just be foreign and can create some of those obstacles. So this is a great way to help overcome some of that, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Just having the opportunity that they know that they can come to us directly and talk with us about any concerns that they might have as far as anything. I mean, one thing for academics, but another just to try to figure out, some of the social aspects of college as well, and those different things. So we're open to a wide variety of ways of helping the students.
So one of the criteria that you mentioned is Pell eligible or Pell Grant eligible. For those of us that are not in that, or for those that are not in that higher education setting and maybe aren't familiar with that, what does Pell Grant eligible mean?
Right. So a Pell Grant is something that students will find out if they've received after they've completed their FAFSA, which is the federal financial aid application. And for students, they would receive an award letter, and it would tell them. And students who receive it usually show that they have a high level of financial need. So it can be considered to be a low income indicator. And so students who get that Pell Grant, the nice thing is, one, they don't have to pay it back. It helps them go to school without having concerns of having to pay that particular portion of money back. But it is one of the things that plays a part in helping them be successful in the school. So that's why we pay attention to that, because we want those students to be equally as successful as the first generation college students would be.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you go about recruiting for the AOS program?
So we do a variety of things. Like I said before, the students have to be accepted into SMSU as well as registered. So we really focus on registration days And the April Days is one of our biggest events because we have 4 days, and typically, we get to meet anywhere from 40 to 50 students at those times. And so we have a presentation that we typically do. And so we talk to the students and the parents, which we believe is something that really strongly needs to be done so that the parent can understand the reasoning for the program as well as see the cost benefit, because the student may not see that. And the student themselves also might be concerned about the fact that it's 3 weeks out of their summer going into their first year of college, right? And it's hard to give that up. And so it's nice to have both the parent and the student involved. So we do that. We send out letters and we push emails out to individuals. And at different times, I have created little video snippets that have gone out to students that we know are eligible for our program.
So do you have a targeted geographic area that you're focused on, or is it wide open?
It's wide open. We have students that are from southwestern Minnesota, right around Marshall area, and we also have students that are from the Twin Cities metro area. I know we've had students from Duluth, but then we've had California, Maine, Texas, Florida, Missouri, Georgia, everywhere. So we do not exclude based on geographic location. So
you talked about a cohort of students working together. What's a typical cohort each year of AOS students?
So for the Scholars Program, that cohort is around 20 students. And so they would follow each other for those 4 classes. Summer Bridge can average anywhere from 20 students to 40 students. And it just depends on the academic year and where students are and how we go about accepting them and what our goal for that particular year is.
So with these 2 programs, how do you ultimately measure success with these?
So there's a number of different ways. There's the way that we would, as an institution, do it. We look at the retention. So their success from completing their first year at SMSU and going into their sophomore year. The number of students that we do that make that transition into their sophomore year is considered successful, and then to go into their junior year as well, right? We also look at what their GPAs are and how successful they're doing in class. We believe that's a sign of the importance of what we do in our office and how we work with our students. But then there's other ways. Leadership development. We really strive to talk to our students about becoming involved in campus. This is the opportunity for them to start building that resume so that once they have that diploma, that they can go out and they can speak to the experiences that they've had. And so we've had students that have taken on different leadership roles on campus as far as student body, maybe student club presidents for the different clubs and organizations, as well as any sort of department and university-wide committees that we have and different things like that.
It's been fun to see some of those students. Pretty gratifying, first of all, when you see them walk across the stage, but as you mentioned, there's been a number of your AOS students that have had some pretty great success. We've had student body president and outstanding senior award, so it's kind of cool to see that.
Right. The outstanding senior award it's so much fun to watch the student themselves, like knowing who they are when they start as a first year student and who they become by the time they are that senior walking and getting their diploma. And the outstanding senior is when you just know that some students just they can carry themselves so well, and their maturity and everything that they have and their presence on campus is just seen by so many people. And it's not just our program, but they influence the whole campus community. And that's a wonderful thing. So I've been very proud to be able to, we have 2 students that have actively received that outstanding senior leadership award. So that's very exciting.
I think it was pretty exciting last year to see, well, I think one of those was Faduma was one of our AOS students.
Right, yes, Faduma.
And pretty exciting because she was somebody that was, I think, nominated from a number of different areas across campus. So
right.
It's pretty cool to see that success when those students have that.
Yeah.
So a lot of things going on, not something that you can do by yourself. Who else makes up the AOS team?
So my director is Jefferson Lee, the 4th. He goes by Jay Lee. That's how most people know him. And he actually was the one who created the Summer Bridge program. He had received it, him and Marilyn Leach, who used to be the director of the program. And so this is one of his own programs that he's kind of held tightly in his hands and moved forward, right? And now we also have Dr. Erin Klein. She's actually the Associate Director for Office of Diversity and Inclusion, but we're housed in the same area, and so we do a lot of things together. So that's our team as far as who is here permanently on campus. But we do have graduate assistants that we work with, and currently for the AOS office, it's Muna Mohammed, who is the past student body president as well as alum of SMSU. And Jackie Albay, she is a new first-year GA for us. So without them, we couldn't do what we do. We need that additional support in order to reach all the students.
A very good team doing a lot of great work.
Yeah.
So Michelle, I have one last question for you. If you could tell a prospective student and their family why they should choose Southwest, what would it be?
Well, I would say you should come and do my Summer Bridge program. It's a great opportunity to get a jump start on your college credits, as well as receive a tuition waiver. If students were to do my program, both Summer Bridge and Scholars, they can get up to a $2,700 tuition waiver. In addition to that, I would say students should look at Southwest because of the support that it provides. It really is an inclusive campus as far as professors having connections, but not just that, but student support service people as well really strongly know students, and they're comfortable. That makes it more comfortable for students to come into the offices and ask questions and find out what they need to do and the resources that are provided for them. And I think that's one of the exceptional things about our campus. And people will work with you, and depending on whatever level of, if you need someone to be there with you for the 4 full years to help you grow and bloom, then there'll be someone there for you. But if it's someone to watch you from a distance that you know will be checking up on you here and there, I mean, that's what we can provide.
We're a family, and that's what I think makes us so special. So thank you, Michelle, very much.
Welcome. Thank you.
Well, coming up later this week, it'll be Mustang Days here on campus. 2 great visit opportunities on Thursday and Friday, of course, with it being MEA weekend. So we encourage prospective students and their families to come out, take a tour of campus, get an opportunity to meet some of our faculty and staff that provide our great academic programs, as well as some of our student life opportunities. Both morning and afternoon sessions on Thursday and Friday, so you can call the admission office at 537-6286 or go online and register as well at smsu.edu. And then coming up next week, of course, with COVID, things have changed a little bit, and our university gala typically would have been held this past week during homecoming, but this year we're doing something a little different. And so the university gala will be a week-long affair and will kick off virtually, and that will start on October 25th and run through November 1st. So I encourage you to check that out online, as that's one of our largest scholarship fundraisers. So again, thank you, Michelle, for joining us. We appreciate you coming on the show. Tune in again in 2 weeks, where Dean Aimee Shouse from the College of Arts, Letters, and Sciences will be our next guest. Thanks for watching.